Hello, listeners and viewers. Excuse me again for my lighting and the quality of my webcam. I am working on both of those things at the moment, but some things cost money that I don't have because I'm paying for a trip to go to Brisbane in about 2 weeks now. So just a bit of just general housekeeping. So, firstly, those who are listening by now would know that I chose Joe Danaher and Al chose Hugh McCluggage as our players of the round or players of the week, as we know. And so just a bit of an update on our leaderboard there. So at the moment, Joe Danaher is the leader with 5 votes, Callum Archie on 4, Dayne Zorko and Kai Lohman on 3 each, Harris Andrews, Eric Hipwood, Hugh McCluggage on 2 each. And then on 1 each, we've got Cameron Rayner, Jack Payne, Noah Answorth, Ryan Lester, Oscar McInerney, and Jared Berry. So I guess just in a bit of general news, as you know, we're playing Port Adelaide in the AFL this Saturday afternoon at the Adelaide Oval. Our recent record there's not too bad against Port Adelaide. I know we had that big loss at the start of last season, and we had a sort of a close-ish loss to the Crows there. Coming off or going into the bye last year, I can't remember which one it was now, but I don't care. I just tend to just sort of forget the losses as much as possible, as probably we all do. But our record against Port Adelaide in general pretty recently is not too bad. As you recall, we did beat them in the qualifying final last year. So Zach Butters initially got reported for slapping Toby Bedford, I think it was, in the face. He got a week for that. So I felt that he's probably going to get off if they challenged it, based on Jesse Hogan punching a bloke in the face and getting suspended for a week, then getting off, and ironically playing against us and kicking a couple of goals from memory. So I see what the AFL are trying to do by saying you can't go hitting blokes in the head with your hand or fist or whatever. But I know based on precedent, that one had to get off. So, Butters is free to play. I'm sure Jared Berry or Josh Dunkley or someone is going to do a job on him anyway and limit his effectiveness, even though he's one of their best, if not their best player. So that's that. So in injury news for us, they say that Will Ashcroft is about a week or so away now from being available to play. It's been in full training for the last month, so that's good. Not sure how Will comes back into the team, but I don't know. Maybe Bruce Reville is the man to get given a bit of a rest, or maybe Will comes back through the VFL. We'll see what happens with that. Kadeem Coleman, they're saying that he's showing a fair bit of progress with his recovery, so that's great. Obviously, we still won't see him till next season anyway, but good on Kitty. Absolutely love everything about him, so can't wait to see him back on the training track full-time and obviously back on the field full-time next year. Carter Michael, the perennially injured Carter Michael, there's a couple of different stories. Apparently he's hurt his knee, but then there's a story saying that he's hurt a quad again. So we're not really sure which one's which, but it does say, look, in the official Lions statement, it says he initially strained his quad, followed by bruising to his knee, and then straining his quad again. So we'll run with that. So they're giving him another week off to get himself right. Hopefully that's all he needs and he'll be back. Would be good to see Carter Michael back in the team. The bad news on the injury front, though, is that Noah Answorth is going to be sidelined for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks with an acute shoulder dislocation. I'm really, really down on this. I'm not too pleased and feel really bad for Noz. This was his year that he was really having a breakout season, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions. I wasn't happy about him not getting much game time the last couple of weeks. They're playing the VFL, and I will talk about that a little bit more. So he was running laps at training apparently, but he's going to be out for a week. So other than that, he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Sorry, I'm trying to read my phone and it keeps key locking on me. I should really just have it open on my laptop screen, but it's already bright enough and it's washing out my face. And just excuse me, I got the pipes out there. Just come back from the gym and I'm still wearing my footy training jumper. And look, I live in the southwest coast of Victoria where it's not very sunny and warm at the moment. So the pipes are a bit white. They are anyway, but they're a bit more than normal. So getting back to the injuries, so Lincoln McCarthy, Darcy Gardner, Kaneen Coleman, as I said, and Tom Duday will all be back next season at some point. And I'm sure they're all going well with their recoveries. All right, so update to our tipping comp. And the tipping comp and the fantasy comps probably have been a bit slack in updating them to everybody. And I've dropped little hints here and there. So in the tipping comp, leading at the moment is Clint C., whose team is called Batman's All-Stars. He's on 83 tips, correct? And in second, third, fourth, and fifth, all on 81 correct tips, we have Reese D., whose team is Reese 31, John C., whose team is No Folk in Chance. Not saying that quickly because that'll be a swear word. That's why I was deliberately slow reading that. Justin E., whose team is Jad 76. Daryl Scott, whose team is Daz Scott, good friend of the show. And then from 6th through to 12th, all on 80 correct tips, we have Sarah B., whose team is Sarah B 36, Ash P., Gabba Express, Maddie N., whose team is Maddie Newbold, and I'm assuming Maddie Newbold is his actual name. It is. We have Lincoln T., whose team is called Conlin, which I'm assuming is an anagram of Lincoln. Teddy Willoughby with Ted's Tips 17. Teddy is a very good friend of the show as well. We have Neats, that's Anita Hum, who we will get on the show. I am offering her money. I'm on my knees begging. Great Lions supporter, one of the best and most passionate supporters out there. She's just being a little bit shy at the moment. We'll get her on. JB Victor, that's Justin V. He rounds out the top level of tipsters with 80 tips, correct. Now, in our fantasy league, so we're not running the competition side of the league at the moment, just during the bye rounds. So I think we've got one more of those left, and then we will be back into competition. So in the lead with 10 wins, 1 loss is Meat Spinners. And then we have all equal on 8 wins and 3 losses. Dunlop Dad's Army, The Wise Lion, Ted's Tips 17, that's Teddy again, The Wood. And rounding out the top 8 with all on 7 wins and 4 losses. And in fact, we have a couple, so that goes down to 9th place, all with 7 wins and 4 losses. Briscoe Sons, Coombsy's Crew, Wet Grundy's, Shayla's Machines, and Bottom 8 Specialist. And just so you know, I'm coming dead last in the tips apparently, which does not surprise anyone who knows me. And in the fantasy league, my son, who is BM 22222, something along those lines, not going too well, young fella. You need to work on that. No, I'm not going to help you with your team. And Nate's, who is coming dead last, unfortunately, because she is very loyal to Lions players, and you've got to love that. Keep it going. I reckon you'll get some wins in the second half of the season when the team fires up and comes home with a wet sail. So after that, what are we up to? So a bit of feedback on Darcy Wilmot. So I raised it with Al in our most recent episode that I feel as though we as a supporter base, Al and myself as podcasters, if whatever we want to call ourselves, and the media in general, I think just people in general probably underrate Darcy Wilmot a bit. Al corrected me totally and said that he totally rates him, and I agreed with everything he said. And Joel Selwood also agrees. Now, Joel, I reckon you're a listener, and if you are, give me a sign. Mention Barwon Heads in your commentary, special comments, whatever it is you do on Channel 7. Because I know you live in Barwon Heads, and I live not far away from there, so there's our common connection. So if you say something about Barwon Heads in whatever game you're doing special comments in, I'll know you're a listener or a viewer. Either way, probably better off being a listener, because then you don't have to look at my washed out, really, really white face with my really bright laptop screen. I'll probably have to turn that down. So Joel Selwood said, Darcy Wilmot has paired nicely with Dayne Zorko in generating drive from Brisbane's backline. Against the Saints, he had 25 disposals at 92% efficiency, 9 marks and 4 score involvements. In his last month of football, Wilmot averages 22.5 disposals, 7.5 marks and 4.5 score involvements. So, yeah, Joel's onto something here. He's on the money. Motty is really, again, like he's only about 20 years old. He's still young. I reckon he's only played about maybe 30, 40-ish games, I reckon. He hasn't missed a game since debuting in the final against Richmond a couple of years back. Absolute star. So also another friend of the show, Lex, in one of the Lions groups on Facebook, also said after listening to our latest episode, he said on the post that we put to promote it, I'd like to give a bit of praise to Darcy Wilmot. Always gives a solid performance every week. Mr. Reliable. Doesn't star, but puts his body on the line for his mates. Would be one of the first picked each week, a 200 gamer, I would think. Hard to argue with that, Lex. Yeah, good stuff, good feedback. So that's where we're at with that at the moment. All right. So as mentioned at the tail end of our last episode, I did say I'd do a bit more of a better wrap on the VFL. Unfortunately, again, I wasn't able to go back to the replay because the streaming wasn't great, but I did find a highlights package on the Lions YouTube. So cheers to the club social media team for doing that for us fans. And I was able to have a bit of a look, and they put out a little bit of a match report, so I'm having a bit of a read of that as well for the second time today. So we beat Sandringham at Brighton Holmes Arena by 57 points. Bit tight in the first half, and we broke it open in the third term, beating 5-3, and then absolutely ran away with it with another 6 goals in the last quarter. 19-16, 130 to 10-13, 73. So that's pretty good. As I mentioned, Luke Lloyd had a really, really good game. Got a bunch of the ball, took about 14 marks, kicked 3 goals. That's, really, you love to see it, don't you? So, yeah, Noah Answorth played pretty much the full game in the VFL as well after having a bit of time as a sub in the AFL, and he did pretty well, kicked a goal. Jared Lyons didn't play in the midfield for the whole entire game, from what I can gather. Got 18 touches, kicked 3 goals. But, as it says in the press release, and as you would know from looking at the stats and also just from the highlights package, the boys down back, Jackson Pryor continued his good form at VFL level. I know he hasn't done too well with his AFL opportunity this year, but VFL level, he's been really, really, really good. Dara Joyce got 30-odd, 15 marks, just was on fire, starred. And look, you think, like, he's only played about 10 AFL games, across a few seasons. So and obviously coming from Ireland and learning the game fresh as well, he's still getting there. I still think he has a role to play at AFL level when needed, when the call-up comes. So hopefully nobody gets injured or suspended. And, it's a good problem to have, having someone in good form playing down back in VFL level that we can call on if needed. Luke Beacon, again, was really good in his second game for the club. He looks like a ready-made player that can just walk into the team. His sample form was good, as we sort of talked about. He got another 20-odd. And, Henry Smith, my boy, one of Al's favourite boys that we like to talk about a lot, kicked 3 goals, did really well. He's going to have to force out, Hipwood or Danaher, or hope that one of them is unavailable for a week, which we don't want them to be unavailable. I mean, again, same as Darren Joyce, good problem to have a bloke in that sort of good form down in the second tier comp, ready to roll if needed. Dev Robertson and Jimmy Tunstall did pretty well in the midfield, getting 20-odd. And not a lot of clearances across the game for anybody. Dev did get 5 to lead our stats on that. Kalen Lane kicked a couple of goals as well, so that's good for his confidence. Harry Sharp, Brendan Ryan got goals as well. Darcy Craven, one of our newest recruits, got himself a goal. Cole Dunkley got one big one from outside, 50 metres. Shadow Brain sort of did pretty well. I don't know if he's going to be coming back to the AFL side in the immediate future, unless it's as a sub replacement for Noah Answorth, possibly, or depending on what happens with Connor McKenna as well. But I do love Shads, so I would love to see him back in the team. So let's see how that goes. I guess it's a watch and act. He got 21 touches, 12 marks, so he did really well there. Not much else to say other than, let me just bring up the fixture and let you know who we play next. So bear with me, folks. I'm getting there. Surely we don't have another bye because we've had a few. No, we played the Frankston Dolphins again at Brighton Holmes Arena, 11:05 on Saturday afternoon. That's 11:05 Eastern States time. And we're currently 7th. So just a bit of an update. Yeah, we're 7th on the ladder. So there's a bit of a weird thing happening with the finals. I'm going to get Al to explain that on Thursday night. And Frankston are 12th. So that's pretty good they're a standalone club. No AFL alignment, and they did almost in fact, they did go bust for a little bit before coming back into the comps. So, obviously, no personal love for the Frankston Footy Club, but you do love to see your standalone sides doing pretty well, just hopefully not against us. So, I just noticed as well in the fixture, this is something you do love to see: Carlton in 21st position. Sucked in Carlton. Righty, so back to it. And so a bit of feedback across the socials, and also we got some, I just want to thank our listeners and viewers as well for the review. So on Apple Podcasts, we have a absolute gem of a 5-star average rating on Apple Podcasts. So thanks to everybody who's given us a review there. Would love to get some more in as well. Spotify, it's not quite up at that same level. We're on an average of 4.1. Someone gave us a 1 point something. You could have just, not listened to us anymore instead of giving us a 1 point something. But look, I'm all for opinions, and opinions aren't right or wrong, are they? But in general, there's a lot of 5-star reviews coming in there, so that's really good. On the old tube, we had a couple of comments. I did a poem that I published about Kevin Murray, who is turning 86 today as of recording. Happy birthday, Muzz, or Bulldog as some like to call him. So Julian Collins said, in regards to the poem, well done, that's an epic effort. And Koch Stevens, who's probably a generation older than myself, but looking as young as ever, I'm sure, said that he saw Kevin Murray play once when he was 7-year-old, that's Koch, not Kevin, at Princess Park in April 1972 versus Carlton. So that would have been a great occasion. I think Muzz still would have been at the top of his game there. So it's a bit of feedback that's come through in regards to that through the Facebook. So on in the Fitzroy Football Club supporters past and present group, Alex Gardner said great job. Dolores Fenton said sensational. Judy Nottage, love it. Peter Van Howen, wonderful. Muzz is a legend. Sue Aston said such a beautiful poem. Words so true of undoubtedly the greatest Lion we've had. His support. I doubt the Brisbane Lions would exist as they do today. He told us to follow, and that we did. Judy Bartolo said, bravo. John Muir, brilliant. The great man will love it. Cheryl Pirani and Ella Moxon chucked a couple of happy gifts in there, as did Jared Nichols. Jennifer Coomber said, fantastic. Mark O'Neill, a great legend for the Fitzroy Football Club and an even greater gentleman. Thanks, Kevin Murray. You're a true champion. Les Watts, how good was that? Well done. Angela Brand, a great Lions. Annie Robinson mentioned that she used to work with Kevin at Northern Motors in Faulkner and Melbourne in the 1960s. Adam Carr, well done. That is brilliant. Kevin Harling said he remembers the days at the Junction Oval, Muzzer running down the race, waving to us. And he's put up a pic of himself and his brothers with Kevin. Yeah, interesting. Kev was wearing his East Perth jumper there, which warms my heart. But obviously my heart beats absolutely most true for the Lions. So, yes. And Mark O'Neill said, great poem. Well done, mate. James Niven did ask if I felt that Hayden Button deserved to be mentioned as the greatest Lion ever. And yeah, probably the greatest footballer to pull on a boot, in my opinion, at the level, and also for our football club, without doubt. He's unsurpassed, 3 Brownlow medals in a very short period of time. And that's just a podcast. The Club We Hold So Dear does have an episode where I did talk about Hayden Bunton. But I'm splitting hairs a little bit here, so make of this what you will. But Fitzroy was called the Maroons in Hayden Bunton Senior's days. So he's definitely the greatest Fitzroy footballer and the greatest Maroon. And I'm splitting hairs by saying Kevin Murray, the greatest ever Lion as well. So there was a little bit of feedback in the Brisbane Lions supporters group. And I'm just trying to bring that up. So doing this on the hops. This is live podcasting, folks. So the let's have a look at this and have a bit of a read. So Sharon Morrison said, lovely birthday present to him for his birthday in a couple of days. Well done. This was 2 days ago. Margaret Dwyer, a brilliant effort, a story told with feeling. I love it. Elaine Gleeson, well done. With lots of thumbs up and lots of line emojis. Thank you, Elaine. Val Jenkin, well done. Helen Delves, congratulations. A great tribute to our mighty Lion, Kevin Murray. To the old Fitzroy supporters who went with the move to Brisbane, it was wonderful to know that he has supported the Brisbane Lions all the way with us. Louisa Marie, a great tribute to Bulldog, well done. Tony and Carol Dew, well done. Michelle Compte, a wonderful tribute, I love it. Christopher Chen, I hope he's doing well, which we all do. We know that Kevin was in ill health for a little while. But, yeah, I did notice that a couple of members of the family have noticed the poem and have had a listen. So hoping that we get a little bit of feedback from that point of view. So a bit of an update on, so Deb and I were talking about Britt Cox, the Mogul, I think that's how you say it, Mogul skier from the Winter Olympics who went down the, she got dunked. So we didn't have a slide. She got dunked at the big freeze at the Gabba. So she started following us on Instagram. So thank you, Britt, and hello. Waving. So Britt is a Winter Olympian, as we know. She's a skier. Just quickly, she's from Wodonga in Victoria. And she's competed at 4 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, Sochi, Pyeongchang, and Beijing. And I believe she'll be competing at the next one as well. And she does the freestyle skiing women's moguls. So, well done to Britt. Great Aussie champion athlete. Whether she wins a gold medal or not, she's a champion in my eyes and a legend of Australian sport. So, again, hi, Britt, and thanks for the follow. Nathan Buckley had a bit to say about Dayne Zorko, and I would love your feedback on that, whether or not you agree. I tend to agree. Nathan Buckley has a lot of good things to say, and he said in regards to Dayne Zorko on SEN today, Tuesday, why isn't he up in conversations about the best players of the modern era? Well, let's face it, he's only a one-time All-Australian, probably deserves to be in the conversation a little bit more. We all know the story of how he got to be in the AFL. Consistent performer. He's having an evergreen, outstanding year this year as well in a change of role. And a lot of people thought he wasn't going to play this year. I thought he'd probably be the sub a lot or miss a few games here and there. He's proven us all wrong. He's just performing outstandingly and rightly so. So I'd love your thoughts and feedback on that. Love me some Zorko. So coming up on the show on Thursday night, we have Adam Ballali's from the Down the Guts podcast, a great footy podcast. There's no betting company influence. There's no big media, TV channels or newspaper or, dare I say it, FM radio. That's the word I'm looking for. Influences there. There's a couple of footy nuffs like Alan, myself, and Deb and Neale, and everyone else who's been on the show previously. They really know their stuff. They talk in depth about football in a way that it's easy to understand. They don't dazzle you with garbage or try and tell you that, they played 200 games and won 4 premierships, so they know more than you. They tell it like it is. So Adam, being a Port Adelaide supporter, we're going to get him on, have a bit of a chat about, he'll tell us a little bit about how Port are travelling, a bit about their selections, no doubt talk a bit more about Zach Butters and Charlie Dixon, who got the 3-week suspension in the Sandfall as well, so he won't be playing against us. Although I did notice, and I think I brought it up with Al the other night, one of the social media outlets referred to him getting suspended in the VFL. Port Adelaide are not in the VFL yet, and they will be soon, but it won't be called the VFL by then, or various football locations, as I like to refer to it as. So if you've got any questions you want to ask Adam, by all means, he is a really smart guy, knows everything about every team in the AFL, knows a lot about football history. And we will get Joe Sullivan, who's his co-host, on in the lead up to the game we play against Adelaide, which is in about 2 or so weeks, 3 more games away. So also for the Queenslanders, I know you guys don't get a lot of stuff from the club, a lot of functions, a lot of family days and that sort of thing. So you do have something coming up, and that's the Historical Society has a night coming up on the 11th of July, which is a Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. arrival, 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. is the event time. And that's being held at the Morningside Football Club, number 4 Oak Street, Hawthorn, in somewhere in Brisbane, Queensland. I think Louis Taylor used to live in Hawthorn, actually. Maybe he still does, I'm not sure. So, there's a dinner with guest speakers Simon Black, Tim Nodding, and MC Peter Blucher, who has done a lot of media for the club over the years. And I don't know much about Peter, but I know that he has done a lot of work for the club. So, good on him. And there's a 2-course meal included in the price, which is $65 for members of the football club and the Historical Society and guests, so they all pay the same. Now, Historical Society life patrons are free, but so for anybody who is planning on attending that, you must register your attendance. I would assume you just contact the membership department at Springfield. I know down here in Victoria, when we have these sort of events, you just contact Sam Lord. Don't know. Yeah, look, I'm going to say just ring the membership department and let them know. And if they're not the people to talk to, they'll let you know or transfer your call. There's going to be a silent auction and some raffles on the night. And there's drinks available at bar prices, and discounted tickets are also available for past players of the club. Some of them will be fast, like fast runners, fast disposals. I sound like a dickhead there, so that's normal. You would have probably have gotten an email, so check your emails, maybe your spam folder if you can't find it in your inbox. And if you did, you will get a selected little button to register now. And you must do that by the 4th of July. So I will be in Brisbane in the lead up to that, but I won't be there on the night. So I won't be attending, although I do try and regularly attend Historical Society events in Victoria because they are really good. My kids went to one of the ones last year and absolutely loved it with a couple of great Fitzroy players there. So, right. So all I've got left to talk about now, and if you do not like naughty language, I would suggest probably you stop listening or viewing now, because I'm going to drop a couple of F-bombs because I think it's necessary, called for. I don't like it, but my hand has been forced by some media and social media outlets. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to switch off if you don't like the F word. If you do, or if you don't, you're nonplussed, your 10 seconds is up. Right, so firstly, a lot of social media outlets and actual real general media outlets are running with this God knows why story about Abbey Holmes and Lachie Neale gave each other a peck on the cheek after an on-field interview. Now, they're good friends. I believe that Abbey's husband and Lachie knew each other as well when they both lived in Western Australia. Storm in a teacup, really. Like all this controversy, all these headlines saying, oh, the social media world has blown up over this shocking act. They're mates, they're friends, they love each other. And one of the social media outlets trying to write an article saying that Jules Neale, Lachie's wife, has blown up about it and she's angry and whatever. And then you read the article, nothing of the sort. There's no quotes. There's nothing in there. You fuckwits, give it up. Stop trying to create controversy where there is none. All right? Like Brian Taylor or Cam Mooney or one of those other dickheads pats a bloke on the bum at the end of an on-field interview. You don't even bat an eyelid. Two friends give each other a reciprocated peck on the cheek and you lose your fucking mind. All right, give it a rest. It's bullshit. Now, while I'm at it, Yahoo Sports Australia on social media, and I've brought them up before, stop trying to write these sensationalist headlines for articles that, when you click them and open them, have nothing of the sort in there. Again, just like the Jules Neale thing, right? Trying to say that there's this big falling out between Christian Petrarca and his girlfriend because he got hurt and went back on the field. Right, come on. It's bullshit. Yes, we know there's a bit of controversy with Petrarca's injury and the fact that the Melbourne Football Club allowed him to go back on the field. But, like, seriously, they've written a whole shitload of others about other players and other things and other sports, trying to get people to click. And then the articles are absolutely nothing articles. So get rid of your work experience, kid. He's shit. and you're edited as a shit for letting the work experience kid write sensationalist headlines. And whoever writes your articles, they're boring. And the raw, stop trying to create controversy. And if you're going to be sensationalist, write one of your own articles instead of sharing something from Fox Footy or somewhere else and then claiming that it's yours. Like, give us something that we actually want to read or listen to or watch. Okay. Rightio. Well, that's it for me. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting hungry. You probably heard my stomach rumbling. Hopefully you didn't. Yep, Thursday night, Friday morning, so overnight, Thursday night, we'll have our selection chat out. And I have got on the sister pod, the Club We Hold So Dear, our Fitzroy History pod, I have got a story on the 1916 VFL season coming out. That's all been published and ready to go. Just waiting for the right moment to release it. I don't want it to conflict with anything else, but also don't want it to get forgotten in amongst anything else. So a lot of time and effort went into that. And I do have another poem coming as well. So, yep, keep up the support. We love it. And tune in on Thursday night because I reckon that's going to be an absolute cracker with Adam Balalis from the Down the Guts podcast joining us on the show. And again, if you want to ask Adam any questions about Port Adelaide, about footy in general, for his thoughts on how we're travelling as well, by all means. And also, if you want to suggest a movie for us to talk about, movie of the week, as you know, we do that, or even a top 5 or something, hit us up, brisbanelionspodcast@gmail.com. Get on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on all of those. We're not on X, formerly Twitter. And if you know me, if you're friends with me on one of the socials or you follow me on one of the socials, you can contact me directly as well. And also, a couple of questions that come in. I'm not going to answer these ones, but I will. So Freya is not single because Freya is not a real person. Freya is a automatically generated voice that I use just to help out with a couple of little bits and pieces here and there. So she's not real. But now, as for Deb, I believe Deb is single, but you're going to have to fight me to get to her. She's my fave. Well, she's seemingly everybody's favourite, and with good reason, because she is an absolute legend, and much better to listen to than myself. So she will be back on the show soon. Al will also be back again and again and again on Thursday night. He'll be back, so can't wait. I'm sure you're all waiting for me to switch off. So thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you Thursday night. Good on you. Cheers and go Lions.
This episode was produced by Steel Hat Productions. Please follow us and enable notifications to get our latest episodes anywhere podcasts are available. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review.